Hello, everyone. Welcome to Global Government News. Today is Thursday, January 27th, 2011, and I'm Darko. This is part two of this economic news bulletin. New listeners, please visit my website at www.ggnonline.com, www.ggnonline.com. So we left off with this article here from IPS titled Food Prices Rise After Record Rains, talking about the prices are set to rise in Colombia due to local crop losses after 9 months of devastating rains. And then we move to this People's Daily Online article. We have faster rise in food costs may lift consumer price index. China's inflation may pick up again in January on a faster rise in food prices as the Spring Festival nears, analysts say. They say the consumer price index, the main gauge of inflation, is likely to climb above 5% again this month. And it says frequent natural disasters in recent months have led to a higher increase in food prices at this particular time when the Spring Festival is drawing close and demand gets a lift. Next up is from Natural News. Global sugar shortage looms, price hikes expected. Global sugar prices are at their highest level in 30 years and may rise as fears of worldwide shortage loom. And of course, they'll have high fructose corn syrup and all the other stuff like aspartame to replace that, right? Cocoa and coffee climb as Ivory Coast bans exports. And I don't think, actually, I know that that's not why the prices went up. The prices went up because of weather. But it says commodities are seeing a mixed start to the week. Monday helps as fears of Chinese fiscal tightening ease a little, but the agricultural complex is seeing much attention after the president-elect of the Ivory Coast announced a 1-month ban on cocoa export. And says the internationally recognized president-elect, I like that, how they put that, of Ivory Coast, Adarada, in other words, the person that the people don't want, announced in a short note that the country should stop exporting all coffee and cocoa exports in an effort to oust the sitting president, Laurent Gbagbo, who lost the recent elections but has yet to step down. It says the Ivory Coast produces 40% of the world's cocoa and cocoa exports. And it says they're the main source of income for the government. The ban would likely cut off the funding that Mr. Gbagbo relies on to pay local civil servants and military. So, so there you go. Maybe that's what it has to do then. So all of this, everybody's going to be paying more for coffee because of this individual who has failed to give up or cede power after these, quote, there were reportedly fraudulent elections. So he is basically, we're going to pay higher prices because this individual feels as though the people aren't being represented, and so he's going to stay in there. And so, what do? Well, we're going to punish the entire country because they won't take their new puppet that the UN acknowledges and has deemed, this is our golden boy. And because of that, now we're all going to pay higher prices in coffee and chocolate. So just so you know, that's how the games. Those are the games that they play. They also cut off their TV as well about a month ago. Shares of Starbucks slide after company warns that commodity inflation will whack earnings. So you can check that out. Says here, global food system must be transformed on industrial revolution scale. It says the existing food system fails half the people on the planet and needs radical change if the world is to feed itself, report warns. And there's definitely enough food on the planet, guys, to feed everybody. It's all just a game. You know that. I know that. And if you don't know that, you better educate yourself because that's what it is. It's a very serious game. And it's about killing people and it's about bringing global population numbers down. That's all that it has to do with. Half of these, quote, natural disasters are actually unnatural disasters, are actually being created by man through weather modification, HARP, and spraying of aerosols. So they are creating half of these little not pandemics, but these little food shortages, right? So you just got to look out for that. And then, of course, what is the solution? Well, since they're most likely creating it, they're going to have their solution prepackaged and ready for the slaves. Well, what is that solution? That solution is genetically modified organisms, genetically modified food. So that you can be indentured. You can be in indentured servitude even more if you're a farmer because you can no longer reuse your seeds. You have to keep buying these seeds these Terminator seeds because they can only be used once, and then also it's going to sterilize you. So again, it's about killing you and making it so that you cannot reproduce. Food speculation: people die from hunger while banks make a killing on food. It's not just bad harvests and climate change, it's also speculators that are behind record prices, and it's the planet's poorest who pay. And there was just an individual from, I believe, South America, an iron ore investor, or someone actually owns the local mine or something like that, or has a stake in it, and I guess he killed somebody, an actual investor who does the investing in the markets and that, and I guess he was murdered for it because of what they're doing to the commodity prices. So a lot of people are going to be hurting from this, what they're doing. About half U.S., UK banker bonuses rise. Survey: roughly half of bankers in Britain and the United States received increased bonuses for 2010, according to a survey released on Tuesday. Next up is McDonald's. McDonald's sees food costs rising as sales slow. McDonald's, the world's biggest burger chain, said its food costs will rise this year, leading analysis to forecast the company will put up prices as it reported weaker than expected December sales. Next up is flooding in Australia may propel wheat crop to record, and Rabobank predicts rain that caused billions of dollars of destruction in Australia could propel wheat output in the fourth largest exporter to the record next harvest and boost irrigated crops after a flood swept formerly parched land. Labor strikes hit Argentina's major port. Workers in Argentina's major ports near the city of Rosario have staged a strike, paralyzing the South American country's main point of soy and grain exports. Italy hit by massive transport strikes. A nationwide public transportation strike in Italy has halted buses, subways, and ferries and forced commuters to scramble to get to work. So here we go. We were just talking about those floods. Well, get this. This is from the Australian news website, 24/7 Flood Info Center. Flood tax, what will you pay? So this is the big news. If you're an Australian, you've already, pretty much heard of this. And, it sounds good on the surface because, if you're getting less than $50,000 a year, well, you're not going to pay any extra taxes. So they say this year, and then it says it will only apply in 2011-2012 financial year for those people, see? So what they're trying to do is they're trying to offset the cost to, quote, the wealthy, right? So here you go, as you make more. But, it's like, what about the people that make $500,000 or the millionaires? How much are they going to be paying, right? A lot of these people right here, these guys are business owners. They're either lawyers, they have a practice, a medical practice, or they're just regular businessmen, right, with small businesses. So what is this going to do? This is going to kill jobs. This is going to hurt people that right now that need a job. They're not going to have the money to reinvest because they're having to pay this extra tax. So, but it gets more into it right here, and it says flood levy will cost jobs. Retailing body: the federal government should put the national broadband network on hold rather than impose a flood levy, the national retail body says. The United Retail Federation on Thursday said the flood levy will cost jobs, slow the economy, and destroy households that are hanging on by a very thin thread. Federation National President Scott Driscoll said the tax would be, quote, an unnatural disaster, and urged the federal government to instead put the NBN rollout on hold. Hundreds of thousands of households are just hanging on by a very thin thread, and they will be forced to put less on the dinner table each night after a Gillard Bly tax grab, he said on a statement. And there was an article that I wanted to cover, but it was basically talking about anarchism. And basically it's about people get freaked out when they hear that word. They usually equate it with trash cans going through private businesses and private property being lit up on fire. That's not anarchism. In anarchist society, individuals still respect private property. There's still property rights. There's still legalities. You can't just do whatever the heck you want. That's not anarchism. Anarchism is about basically not being coerced into doing something. It's about doing things voluntarily. People conducting business voluntarily. People helping out in Australia with the floods and helping each other out voluntarily and not being forced by the state to do it. And the article basically, in summary, was commending Australians for all of the hard work that they were doing to help each other out without being coerced into doing it by the state. So it's a good, while the government is scrambling, trying to act as if, they're going to do something, the people have already been helping each other, and they're doing okay. They could be doing better, but they're hanging on. And so now the government's going to come and say, we're going to help and we're going to tax you. And you know what this is going to do, guys? It's going to go straight into private corporations' pockets, right? So it's going to go and it's going to get siphoned off in all these government contracts. So I just wanted to say that. AP survey outlook for 2011, economy is brightening. It says employers will hire more workers this year. So look at this. After all this news that I covered, look at what the AP survey says. Outlook for 2011, economy is brightening. So if you believe that, I definitely have some land right on the coast of California, right on a fault line for you if you want to buy. Employers will hire more workers this year, and the economy will grow faster than envisioned 3 months ago, according to an Associated Press survey that found growing optimism among leading economists. So that's all I have for you folks. Thank you for joining me in this economic news bulletin. This is Global Government News, and I'm Darko. Thank you.